Star verdict. Am I the a-hole for being upset that my friend slash bridesmaid didn't tell me she's pregnant? My wedding is in early September, and I have 4 bridesmaids and 1 maid of honor. One of my bridesmaids just announced to me she's 2 months pregnant. I was shocked by that, and by the fact she didn't announce it to me earlier. I asked her why she thought it was a good idea to keep this info from me since she knew for weeks. She said she didn't feel ready announcing it yet to anyone, and even their families didn't know. She said I'm one of the first people she's told about it. I said, still, I should be notified as soon as she got the news because the wedding is in September, and I have to know about that stuff and make the necessary preparations. She's unapologetic about it and said she didn't owe it to me. It's personal news, and she shared it when she felt ready. I vented to my family and my other bridesmaids about it. My maid of honor and my family said she was wrong for not notifying me earlier on about the pregnancy. But the rest of the bridesmaids say I'm basically the a-hole for thinking I'm owed an announcement. I don't know which it is. Top comments. Most first-time moms prefer to wait until after the 12-week threshold before announcing a pregnancy to anyone, as there's a risk of miscarriage until then. You're 4 weeks ahead of the game and have 3 months to find another maid of honor if her baby bump spoils your photographs. Believe me, it won't. You are the a-hole. Really, the primary reason I told everyone I was going to have my first was I was at the nausea stage when I found out, and it was as much to reassure everyone that it wasn't a stomach bug or something. It was bad for a few days. Oh my gosh, how dare someone in my wedding continue to live their life and make life choices without getting my approval first? I'm the bride. How is this gonna look in pictures? And then the bride ran around and told everyone about it. I'm sure the friend didn't want the whole world to know yet. Maybe that's why she didn't tell the bride the minute she got pregnant. Sounds like she found out early on and is now ready to share. Maid of honor knew the bride was a blabbermouth, so took that into account. I don't understand how people can love someone enough to ask them to be in their wedding, but then treat them with such hatred. Did this woman seriously announce her supposed friend's not yet generally announced pregnancy to her maid of honor, other bridesmaids, and family, venting about how she was somehow owed an earlier announcement? Is that what I just read? What the heck is wrong with OP? Jesus, 2 months is super early to be telling anyone, and this witch goes and tells everyone else so she can vent that someone, somewhere, had the audacity to live their own bloody life. Screw her. It's understandable that the OP was surprised by their bridesmaid's announcement, especially considering the wedding is in early September, and there are preparations that have to be made. However, the OP needs to remember that pregnancy news is highly personal, and everyone has their reasons for when and how they choose to share it. While the OP may have hoped for an earlier announcement due to the wedding, their bridesmaid likely had their own reasons for waiting. The OP has to respect her decision and understand that she may have needed time to process the news and figure out the best way to share it with her loved ones. OP can let her know that while they were surprised, they support her and her pregnancy wholeheartedly. If the OP is still concerned about the wedding preparations and how their bridesmaid's pregnancy might impact things, they can work out a plan together to accommodate any potential changes that may arise. Am I the a-hole for telling Bridezilla to stop wasting everybody's time? My sister, 32, recently got engaged with her 1.5-year-long boyfriend after several failed relationships. Our family was filled with joy upon receiving the news. Especially I, 24, finally had the chance to be a bridesmaid. Since it was my first experience as one, I vowed to my sister to do everything I could to help her plan the wedding. True enough, we did start planning it ASAP, since she's a very meticulous and indecisive one. We both agreed to finalize the first entourage list, so we could immediately inform the other bridesmaid, her maid of honor, and other sponsors to help if it is possible. Until she spoke the difference between a bridesmaid and maid of honor. She told me that she wanted me to be the maid of honor. However, she had promised a childhood friend it will be hers. I honestly don't care about it. All I want is to help in planning everything, which her maid of honor can't do since she lives in a different state. It is fine with me to take the job description, even if it wasn't my role. I'm just really willing to help as I love this kind of thing. So it is settled. For the past 3 months, day by day, minute by minute, my sister would message me regarding her plans, mood boards, and etc. I don't mind. She would even dictate the exact details she wanted for the wedding. She even asked me to make her a planner. I obliged. Most of the time, she'll call me in the middle of the night just to confirm some appointments or just to ask about minor details. She also loves announcing everything connected to the event. However, in those 3 months, she was constantly calling off the wedding because of a few things. First, she thinks her fiancé is cheating with only a gut feeling as her proof. Second, she hates it when our parents don't get involved, yet still hates it if they give opinions or comments that don't sound good to her. Lastly, she wants her fiancé fully committed in planning the wedding, even if her fiancé kept on telling her to go plan it the way she wants. Take note, her fiancé has already focused on the catering, DJ, etc. Almost half of the wedding plans. She would usually do this, and then, after a few days, we were again planning her wedding as if nothing had happened. After we called suppliers, canceling, and then booking it again. Last week, she again called off the wedding because apparently she caught her fiancé cheating. I'm the only one she told about it this time. I just felt irritated and lashed out that she should not be getting married for real if she will just call it off and then on again. She blankly stared at me and exited the coffee shop. And yesterday, she again went on planning with me as if nothing happened. I, however, didn't respond to all of her messages. She got mad and threatened to cut me off from the entourage list. Some of the bridesmaids, her cousins, told me I was very rude and disrespectful of the bride / my sister. That wedding planning sucks, is stressful, and full of anxiety attacks. I should be more considerate. Am I the a-hole for not tolerating it? Update. My parents, along with my brother and the fiancé, discussed how we should handle the situation. They decided to let her call it off and on, but never cancel any suppliers anymore. They think she's having cold feet. I also decided not to help anymore for the next preparations. The only thing I want now is for it to be over. Don't you worry, my parents are not siding with her. Top comments. Not the a-hole. You're playing with a live grenade here. Put it down and back away out of the shrapnel zone. Your sister is in no way ready to get married, and she's just going to continue this insane back and forth. Take yourself out of it and let her cope. Enough is enough. You're playing with a live grenade here. Put it down and back away out of the shrapnel zone. This is awesome. I'm gonna have to remember this. Not the a-hole. Incoming. Red flags. Middle of the night phone calls? Not the a-hole. I'm exhausted reading this. Not the a-hole. Your sister sounds like quite an unstable person, and I would not place any money on her marriage lasting very long, if it even actually happens. Info. Did she actually catch her fiancé cheating, or does she still just suspect it? She started planning the wedding again. She only suspects it, I think. She never showed anything to back up her claims. She would usually call it off because of her gut feeling, then plan it again. It sounds like the OP's been going above and beyond to help their sister with her wedding planning, and it's understandable that they feel overwhelmed and frustrated with the constant back and forth and last-minute changes. Even though OP wants to be supportive and understanding during this process, it's also okay for them to set some boundaries for themselves. It's not unreasonable to expect some consistency and clear decision-making from their sister, especially if she's constantly changing her mind and causing unnecessary stress. OP has to be honest with their sister about how they feel. Let her know that you love and support her, but that the constant changes and uncertainty are becoming challenging for you to handle. Suggest finding a way to streamline the planning process and stick to decisions once they're made. Remember that being a bridesmaid, especially the maid of honor, doesn't mean you have to endure all the stress and anxiety without addressing your feelings. The OP needs to find a balance between being supportive and taking care of their own well-being. Am I the a-hole for going bridezilla after my bridesmaid spilled wine on my wedding dress? I, 27 female, got married a month ago. My dress was this long, lacy gown that my mom wore at her wedding. My mom passed away about 2 years ago. Because the dress was so important to me, I had a big plan to keep it safe from any damages. I would only wear the dress at the wedding itself, and I would switch to a more casual dress for the reception. When I was wearing the dress, I wouldn't eat or drink anything except water, and I would stay inside at all times. I promise, I'm not usually this crazy about cleanliness. This was my mom's dress, and the thought of it being damaged broke my heart. But I also knew I wanted to wear it when I got married to have a piece of her with me. She adored this dress, and always dreamed I would wear it. My bridesmaids knew very well about my particularities with the dress. I had a room above the venue where I was getting ready. My dress was hanging in a safe place in the room. On the day of the wedding, I went down to check on something for the wedding, leaving my bridesmaids in the room. Here's what happened as they told it to me. They opened a bottle of Pinot Noir, my favorite, as a celebration. They poured themselves glasses and began to walk around checking out the room. One of my bridesmaids, Anna, 27 female, wanted to get a closer look at my dress. She got really close to it and she started touching the lace. Somehow, her hand holding the wine glass slipped, and wine spilled all over the bottom of my dress. When I came upstairs, they told me what happened, and I started sobbing. My maid of honor called several professional cleaners. They said there was no way they could get the dress in before the wedding. They told us ways to save the dress until we got it to them, so my maid of honor started doing that. After that call, I became extremely angry. I asked Anna what the hell she was doing holding red wine so close to my dress when she knew how careful I was being. She dismissed it and said it wasn't such a big deal because I was planning to wear the dress, so it could have gotten damaged that way too. I couldn't believe she said that. I called her thoughtless and careless and stupid. I told her that she was no longer part of the wedding and that I wanted her to leave. She left, and neither of us have reached out to the other since. I got married in the dress I had planned to wear for the reception, and I was heartbroken not to be wearing my mom's dress. After the wedding, my bridesmaids joked that I was a bridezilla for kicking Anna out after she made an honest mistake. I absolutely don't think I'm the a-hole or a bridezilla because Anna's reaction was so horrible and insincere, but I wanted to get the story off my chest and ask some people who might be more impartial. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Why? Why would you wander around with a glass of wine next to a white wedding dress that had such extreme sentimental value? Not the a-hole. They couldn't have waited? They couldn't have waited to have wine. In my opinion, even if the dress wasn't sentimental because of your mom, the fact that it's your wedding dress automatically makes it VIP. It doesn't seem bridezilla or over the top to take precautions not to have big, ugly stains on your wedding dress. And the fact that Anna didn't seem sorry makes me feel like she deserved to be kicked out. Even if they couldn't have waited for the wine, why are they running around the room with the glasses in hand? Are you telling me there wasn't a single table for them to put their glasses on? And even a wedding dress costs a ton of money, and it's supposed to be worn for exactly this one and only moment in your entire life. Opie was lucky to have a spare dress, but what would someone do if they didn't have any? Marry in jeans and a baggy shirt? Man, I hope my future wedding party will have enough senses in their brain to not mess with white stuff. Honey, I think you need new friends. That was not an accident. Anna did it on purpose, and the others covered for her. Not the a-hole. It is interesting that it happened when the bride wasn't there. Agreed. 1. Whose idea was it to bring red wine? 2. No tables? 3. Who holds any kind of fancy dress with one hand? 4. Why was she touching the dress anyway? On the day of the wedding? Why take the risk? especially if it's lace. I'd be terrified of damaging the lace. 5. No remorse. 6. Bridezilla? Seriously? Girl dumped a glass of red wine on your dress on your wedding day and doesn't even apologize. Kicking her out was the bare minimum. First of all, I'm so sorry to hear about what happened to their mom's dress on the OP's wedding day. That must have been incredibly stressful and emotional for them. Honestly, I don't think they're being an a-hole or a bridezilla at all in this situation. It's totally understandable that the OP wanted to keep their mom's dress safe and special for their wedding. They had a plan in place, and their bridesmaids were aware of how important it was to them. While accidents can happen, Anna should have been more mindful and respectful of the OP's wishes, especially knowing how much the dress meant to the OP. It was a careless move, and Anna's reaction afterward didn't help either. It's natural to feel upset and angry about it, especially on such an emotional day. The OP's reaction might have been strong in the moment, but emotions can run high at weddings, and it's understandable why they felt that way. Their bridesmaids may have seen it differently, but they might not fully grasp the sentimental value of the dress to OP. In the end, it's crucial for the OP to remember that their feelings are valid, and they have every right to protect something so precious to them. Am I the a-hole if I don't reply to my bridezilla friend so that I can end the friendship? My best friend from uni got married, and I was supposed to be a bridesmaid. I saw her 1+ year ago at her engagement party. Then she was a bad friend and treated me like garbage. She only cared about her wedding / herself. And even if we texted about her wedding, she stopped responding mid-convo. I tried to confide in her, but she was mean and put me down, and she was a super bridezilla. I began having health issues and had some tough times this year, but because of how she was acting, and at times she ignored me, I chose to stop reaching out, and after her wedding, I was not going to continue being her friend. Since I stopped reaching out, she only texted about bridesmaid stuff. My health issues weren't improving, so when she asked if I got the dress yet, I said no, because I'm taking new meds for my health problem that may make me lose weight, and I want to wait until I know the size I need. All she said was, make sure to get it by June, you need to get it altered. 2 weeks before the wedding, she texted me to pay her $200 for hair / makeup. She never asked the bridesmaids in advance if they wanted that, or told us that we must get hair / makeup and the cost. I was mad because it's a lot of money, and she didn't ask first if we wanted the services, or say what the price was before. At that point, granted a bit last minute, I chose not to go to the wedding, mainly because I don't want to be her friend anymore, but will still get her a nice wedding gift. I said I can't go to the wedding because of my health issues, and I was really sorry. She obviously got very mad and made it all about her and did not ask if I was okay or anything about my health. I apologized again, and she didn't reply. Hours later, she sent me a text saying, "Can you at least pay me $200 because I already booked your hair / makeup?" I asked her to get a refund because she didn't ask me first. She got mad and texted that as a bridesmaid, I'm expected to pay money. And I RSVP'd, so she already paid $150 for me at the venue, but won't charge me for it, and that I didn't even have the decency to call her to tell her I can't go to the wedding because of my health issues, so I should pay her. I was very mad, but decided that I don't want to be her friend, so I'll pay her so she'll stop. I said, sorry, you're right, I'll send you the money. I sent her $200 plus $150 for the venue fee. She did not reply at all, not even thank you. 5 weeks later, she texted me asking how I am about my health issue. I wasn't sure if she was genuine. After her, "I'm sorry you're going through that" text, she sent me a huge essay about how hurt she was that I didn't contact her on her wedding day, or even after, to ask about it or see pics. She ended the text saying she didn't understand why I didn't reach out. I was in shock, especially that she even had the nerve to say that to me after everything. My grandma told me not to reply because I don't want to be her friend. A friend told me maybe say what I felt and confront her. So far, I don't want to reply. I just want to end the friendship. Am I the a-hole if I don't reply to end the friendship? Update. I actually decided to reply, and made it very brief because I ended up thinking if I don't say anything, then I didn't stand up for myself, and I'd regret not saying anything later. Top comments. Not the a-hole. She didn't offer you communication during the wedding, so why should you take that initiative to reach out? She was out of line for expecting that much money with no notice. You have every right to decide who you want in your life. In my opinion, you've already done more than your share paying $350. I wouldn't respond to her either. Not the a-hole. It may not be the most compassionate or efficient way to end a relationship, but in this case, ghosting her is not an immoral choice. Info. Look, it proper sucks that you were having health issues, but so far you haven't given much evidence about her being a bridezilla. So she talks about her wedding a lot. She's about to be married, has a lot of stuff to plan, and is excited. Talking about her wedding a lot isn't a bridezilla. The makeup thing could be signs of bridezilla, but it's one thing that possibly could have been talked about between the two of you. Doesn't sound like either of you tried to talk about that. You RSVP'd yes, then, as you admitted, at the last minute, you cancelled. Money spent on your portion of food, etc., has been wasted. However, she actually tells you she won't charge you for that. That doesn't sound like a bridezilla, by the way. Wedding day comes and goes, and she doesn't thank you for paying, but it sounds like you didn't bother to call or text her to congratulate her on her big day. I think, at the time, you were both feeling like the other was being a bad friend, and so neither of you are particularly polite about things. She then reaches out to you to ask about your health, and while immediately following up with an essay about your behavior and how she felt about it isn't the most appropriate jump in the conversation, I don't understand your response of, "I was in shock," especially that she even had the nerve to say that to me after everything. Exactly what is everything? So far, not a lot has been explained. She talked about her wedding, you had health issues, she wanted you to pay $200 for your makeup. Crappy, but it's a single bad thing that likely could have been talked over. You canceled last minute. You pay her money after she says she won't hold that against you. She doesn't thank you. You don't say anything to her. She inquires about your health. She communicates how your actions made her feel. I don't understand where the big glaring problems are in regards to her being a bad friend. So, if that's all there is to it then, everyone's the a-hole. Her for the makeup thing, you for the last minute cancellation. Not big a-holes, but a-hole-ish. There's a character limit of 3,000 characters, so I had to cut out a lot. There's a lot of stuff she did that you don't know about. She also lied about already paying for my hair and makeup, and about already paying the venue. I gave her everything she asked for, plus more. And especially after I gave her the money and she doesn't thank me, why would I say anything to her? I don't want to have any kind of friendship with her, so I'm going to end it regardless, and that's ultimately what my post was about. I wasn't asking if you think I'm an a-hole for not going to her wedding. Not the a-hole. She had a heck of a nerve signing you up for things without consulting you, and then sending you a bill. Not the a-hole. My reply would be, thank you for showing enough concern about me to ask me why I didn't ask about your wedding. That's very thoughtful of you. During this time, I was focused on myself. I figured you'd understand how that goes. OP is definitely not the a-hole for trying to end a friendship. It sounds like they've been through a lot with this person, and they have every right to protect themselves and their well-being. If being friends with her was causing the OP stress and negatively impacting their health, then it's essential to prioritize their own happiness and health. OP already tried to communicate with her before, and it seems like she hasn't been the most supportive or understanding friend. The OP deserves friends who genuinely care about them and show empathy during tough times. If they don't feel comfortable or ready to reply to her text, that's completely understandable. OP doesn't owe her an explanation, especially after the way she treated them. It's okay to distance themselves from toxic relationships and focus on building connections with people who bring positivity and support into their life. Am I the a-hole for not letting my niece wear pajamas to my wedding? I got married last weekend. The morning of, everything was going great until my sister arrived. She was a bridesmaid. My 3-year-old niece was with her and wearing pajamas. I didn't think much of it at first, and it was still the morning and figured they were both changing. My sister got in her dress and then tried to put my niece in hers. Niece was not having it and threw a huge tantrum. This was a dress she had worn before. Tags were cut off. It wasn't a fancy dress by any means. My sister said she had bought it from Carter's. Eventually, my sister said it wasn't worth the struggle and she didn't have to wear the dress. I asked her what the plan was. She said she'll just wear her pajamas. For reference, my niece was wearing this. They weren't clean either and smeared with niece's breakfast from that morning. My niece was the flower girl. I said from the start, I don't care what she wears, so long as it matched the color scheme, which this didn't. She could either wear a dress or a polo and khakis, something semi-formal. I get dressing kids in fancy clothes as a chore, so I tried to make it easy. But I felt this was a step too far. I asked my sister if she could go buy something else, as we were near Target and Old Navy. My sister said it wasn't a big deal. I said it was to me. She went back and forth until it became clear my niece couldn't come to the wedding, even if she wasn't a flower girl in the pajamas. Finally, my sister got niece dressed. Niece was kicking and screaming, threw a whole tantrum. She was calmed down before we walked down the aisle. My sister was visibly upset. Later on, my sister made it clear she thought I was a bridezilla and I should have just let it go. Am I an a-hole? Edit. Guys, stop making assumptions about my niece. She's normally a funny, sassy, and great kid. She had one off moment. I wanted her in the wedding. My sister didn't force her. There was no one else to watch her, and I did offer to have her just be a guest while all of this was going on, but said she still couldn't wear her pajamas. Top comments. Not the a-hole. I understand that kids at that age are unpredictable and will have tantrums over something as little as a spoon, but you already gave your niece a relaxed enough dress code that your sister would have had options if the dress didn't work out. Did you try to help your sister dress your niece or help her calm down? I offered. My sister told me not to help. She did the same when my mom offered. Not the a-hole. It sounds like you were as accommodating as possible. Since the kid was part of the wedding party, dirty PJs are just not okay. Your sister sounds like a lazy parent. Giving in to every little tantrum is gonna bite her in the butt one day, and then she'll be wondering why she has no respect from the kid and no authority. As a parent, it's about picking your battles, and a wedding is absolutely the time to fight, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Little kids aren't a fan of weddings. That's expected. Your sister should have had some sort of backup dress that matched the scheme, just in case her daughter didn't want to wear the flower girl dress. Your sister shouldn't have been mad at you for wanting your niece to look nice for your wedding. Hey, it's their wedding day, and they have every right to want things to go smoothly, including how the members of their bridal party are dressed. The OP had a simple request for their niece to wear something semi-formal that matched the color scheme, which is completely reasonable. The OP's sister should have respected their wishes, especially considering the OP even gave her options like going to Target or Old Navy for a quick outfit change. It's not about being a bridezilla, it's about having a consistent look for the wedding and making sure everyone is on the same page. Tantrums can happen with kids, and it's understandable that the OP's niece might not have wanted to change, but it's also their sister's responsibility as the parent to handle those situations and ensure her child is appropriately dressed for a significant event like this wedding. The OP was considerate and accommodating, and it's a shame their sister didn't see it that way. So no, the OP is not an a-hole for expecting their niece to wear something more appropriate for the occasion. It's their special day. It's essential to feel comfortable with the details, even the small ones. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you agree with the verdicts down below. Also, consider checking out my other channel, star_Vingart, where I post my artwork, and my Etsy, StarVingartCompany, where I sell my art prints and stickers. Bye!